To this now, the United States credit downgrade will spell bad news for the local economy as this reflects on overall weak global economy. Now, the non-supportive global environment will mean reduced demand for our commodities and lower revenue. Fitch ratings agency has downgraded the U.S. credit rating from the top level of AAA to AAA+. It cited, in fact, concerns about the country's deteriorating medium-term fiscal position, the rising government debt burden and a deterioration in standards of governance in the world's largest economy.
The rating agency is concerned about the United States' fiscal deterioration over the next 3 years. Fitch is concerned about the erosion of governance, rising general government deficits and higher government debt. It also predicts tighter credit conditions, weakening business investment and a slowdown in consumption will push the United States economy into a mild recession in the fourth quarter and the first quarter of next year. Analysts say this is directly linked to a concern of high inflation and interest rates. This will have a negative impact on demand for South African commodities and in turn put pressure on our tax revenue.
It would also mean that the government revenues earned by mining companies would turn out to be lower than otherwise anticipated, making it more difficult for government to spend money that it needed to for social upliftment. And so generally speaking, it's a reflection on the fact that the outlook for the US and global economies is not that positive. And through that, of course, South Africa could face headwinds, not only from its own making due to the structural weaknesses that we have internally, but also from an international environment that is not conducive towards South Africa's economy being rescued by higher commodity prices, as was the case which was the case in 2022.
The rand has weakened slightly against the US dollar following Fitch's announcement.
South Africa's rand has weakened recently, rising back above 18 rand to the US dollar. This comes as yesterday we saw Fitch downgrade the United States credit rating. And of course, if there are negative events in global financial markets, particularly in the United States, this can often spark some form of risk aversion, which in turn sees safe haven inflows into the United States, US treasuries, and of course that then tends to strengthen the US dollar as the treasuries are priced in dollars. In turn, then, against the dollar, the rand does tend to weaken.
Reacting to Fitch's decision, the United States Secretary of the Treasury, Janet Yellen, released a statement saying she strongly disagrees with the rating agency's decision. Yellen says Fitch's decision is arbitrary and is based on outdated data. Gloria Sifako, SABC News, Johannesburg.